completely crushed their region overall to get here. Maybe that's something that we can expect from them looking forward. But right now, we're going to get into picks and bans as Lyon Gaming versus SuperMassive. Potentially one of our last games of the day. Kindred and Maokai taken off the table on the side of Lyon Gaming, while Callista and Braum, the quick bans coming out from SuperMassive eSports.
And yes, SuperMassive have the ability to race for the first place seed. You also have to think that right before heading into best of series, that you may want to hide your hand a little bit. If you can get by beating LG by just playing the bare bones basic of things that you've already shown, go for that. Don't reveal your strategies at this point.
Definitely, I think, a solid concept moving forward as we do see the first pick Alistair locked in here. But while SuperMassive are figuring out what to pick, what else is there to hide here for Dumbledoge and for SuperMassive? My question. That we saw an Elise support. What else is
he could play Lissandra support. I've seen that. I'm not even joking. I saw it played in the other game.
I mean, I don't know anything about Lissandra board. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And for all we know, we very well could. But SuperMassive are going to pick up their first rotation. It's going to be that Poppy and that Graves. Those are some huge power picks on the side.
But this is the thing. LG prioritizing the Alistar versus the Graves, which Graves has just been really running away from this tournament. Obviously found the loss last game against the likes of Kindred. But with Kindred being banned, that pretty much means that your next priority jungler is Nidalee. And Nidalee hasn't found a lot of success in this tournament.
Well, and I think when it really comes down to Revolta, the only success story so far with that Nidalee has shown that you have to ban it out against him, but it's not seeing a ban this game, and if Theok finds the opportunity to play it, he could see some pretty solid success, although with Alistair locked in and the Trundle as well, it looks like that is going to be the Trundle in the top lane, looking to shut that Poppy down as much as possible with that ultimate.
Wow, and a last-second adjustment to that Elise, so taking that away.
Did you ever think that when you saw an Elise locked in, that it would be taken away from the support on the enemy team?
What was it? Daydreaming? I believe. I remember.
The Season 3, thank you. I'm glad you remember. I was talking about it yesterday. I couldn't remember who it was.
It was Daydreaming.
Yeah, excellent, excellent overall. But, of course, getting all excited about the Elise, getting all excited about the unconventional picks. But here's something that has started to become standard here at IWC, the Bard pick, an absolutely powerful pick.
It's the thing with Lucian as well. So for a very long time, Braum Lucian was considered like Alistair, Callista, Braum Lucian, Thresh plus any strong AD carry, like that was the most dominant 2v2. Bard has now entered, and guess what? Bard just slaps all of them away. He is
so strong, so flexible. I mean, personally, one of my favorite champions in the game because he just changes the way you play.
Just forget any of the pick potential, forget all of that, just clear your mind. Level 1 Bard, hits a Q, slaps you twice, ignites you, the AD carry just has to tap you, you'll die.
Yeah, it's terrifying. In addition to the level 1 power, Magical Journey has been such a crucial ability for so many teams because it redefines how you play lanes. When Bard can come in out of any wall, out of any point, with a jungler at his back, you have to start playing the lane very differently, and that feature alone has forced a lot of teams into some awkward positions. Are seeing a few more lock-ins here as the Lucian will be picked up in the bottom lane, and on the opposite side, still deciding, and it is going to be the Twitch, the first time we've seen him in a long time, and the Rise most likely going into that mid lane.
The nice thing about LG's composition is they've actually set themselves up fairly well for line damage just because they have the Trundle as well as the Twitch. If you think small choke points, the Trundle pillar comes out, slows everyone down, traps them in these corridors. Twitch just opens up, great damage.
Yeah, very powerful AD carry. We don't see him in the meta often, but when he shows up, he is a game changer. Can single-handedly carry the team fights with that rat-a-tat-tat.
Issue though is the scaling or the bridge of their composition. Again, if we talk about the baton, of who has that early game, where does it go into the late game. Twitch and Rise will have kind of 3-item power spikes. Twitch, initially when he completes his Blade of the Ruined King, he has assassination potential if he's ahead of the clock or even on the clock. If he ever falls behind, which it's very easy to abuse, especially with an Alistar against the likes of Bard Lucian, you lose a lot of control of your early game unless you're very cheeky.
And we've seen how quickly that can snowball out of control, especially when SuperMassive are the ones able to take a lead. Now in the mid lane, we highlighted earlier how crucial it was for Yuri to be fine here, for him to stay safe. And Naru now picking one of those champions that you never really feel safe against in that LeBlanc, opting to start the Ignite as well. So what do you think Yuri's strategy has to be here in lane? Or are we going just for that neutralization?
He has teleport.
Yep.
I would say push the lane as quickly as possible, get in a free TP back for some sustain, and try to use a item advantage or because you have to assume that LeBlanc's going to take Ignite. It's a possibility for LB to take TP, but if she takes the Ignite, get your item advantage with the free TP and just try to survive the lane. Yeah. I mean, Rise has a lot of build options where he can deal with a LeBlanc's burst damage, but needs to get the early advantage.
All right. So, be interesting to see exactly what they do here moving forward. Lyon Gaming, this is the make or break point for them, right? Well, not really the make or break. Make or break for SuperMassive as they try to secure first place here, but for Lyon Gaming, there's a lot of pressure.
There's
Hometown,
a lot of pride. It's the home field advantage.
You want to beat them on your own turf, right? And now busting out this Twitch pick, now looking to once again kind of redefine what we expect out of teams in the IWCI. You talk about Blade of the Rune King as the first priority item. Do you think that the build that we saw so long ago...
The other thing is how well he works with Hurricane because of how it works with his poison.
Pretty good option.
Pretty silly.
Pretty lots of damage. Expunge. So do you think the build is still the Blade of the Rune King? Do you think he's going to look for that Runeans, maybe go to the Infinity Edge? What do you think? Is there like an ideal itemization for Twitch anymore? In
all honesty, you're asking the wrong person. This would be a perfect segue for Spawn. I actually know that he's a big fan of the Twitch, especially like his particular thing about Twitch was the adjustments to his ambush and the fact that he's getting more, like he's able to be more prominent in team fights with the adjustments to his ambush. But
instant stealth when he gets that killer assist, not instant stealth rather, but instant refresh on that cooldown.
Because the thing is not necessarily his positioning with it, but the fact that he gets the steroid and compensating for a build that way.
Potential opportunity to build a lot of damage here, of course, as we are into this game. Lions Gaming versus SuperMassive. Now pushing out Dumble Doge. Rocking the blue Bard chroma. I think it was the red last time we saw it. So
it's pretty much a pick comp.
You think?
Twitch, Rise, Elise. Like Rise is going to do great in like Twitch and Rise, obviously massive splash damage. They can do a 5v5, but the assassination potential and the reach on the likes of Rise and Elise and Twitch. Trundle, if he gets going, he's got a great split push option. So I feel like, especially against the likes of SuperMassive, you never really want to 5v5 them.
Yeah, definitely. Never. A lot of these, especially the top teams here so far in IWCI, are just incredibly proficient at team fighting, and SuperMassive are no stranger to that.
But it is going to be a blind lane swap again, so we see that Achu and Dumble Doge are kind of peeking their head in, checking what's going on. But this is great for Seiya, because again, that Twitch needs to bypass a very fragile early game, especially with the likes of Alistar, because Alistar, before level 3, is not going to be of any assistance, especially against the likes of Bard.
All right, well, we saw it from Soraka last game. Looks like we're going to see it from Bard now as Dumble Doge. Here comes a quick level 1
casual.
Gank. Walk in, miss the Q, walk out.
I mean, there's where else should he go? He checked the weak side of the jungle, saw that the enemy jungler wasn't starting over there, placed a deep ward. So just to make sure that they're not starting on wolves and then walking up into the blue buff, they know that enemy is starting on red side. Might as well.
Yep.
The drive-by.
The drive-by.
The stroll past.
Not going to find any real advantage there, however. May put a little bit more pressure onto Yuri here in the mid lane as Naru does already have that level 2 and is already starting to play a little bit more aggressive. Jumping in for a lot of damage there. Man, no one likes laning against a LeBlanc, and Yuri especially, hurting already.
And fact of the matter is that it's an isolated mid lane matchup, so LeBlanc's going to be free to use that distortion aggressively as opposed to conserving that for a possible gank coming in because we're in a lane swap scenario. So Naru really able to bully out.
Yeah, definitely a solid option as both teams look poised to trade the first tower. At least going to spend a little bit more time in that jungle, though, maybe trying to find an advantage over this Graves. Not going to be too significant just yet as Naru just continues to play aggressive in the mid lane.
Yeah, Lucian double tapping through this tower. We'll see what either team decides to make moves after the initial tower goes down, because that's truly what's more important with the lane swap is the iteration that happens afterwards. Magical journeys out.
Journeying his way out. A lot of people opting for that healing shrine level 2, but looking for a little bit more mobility in these lane swaps, potentially providing a small tempo advantage. As Yuri looks like he could be in trouble. Aggression already coming out. End of the line, not quite going to find purchase. Excellent movement overall from Yuri, but at the end of the day, that's first blood going over to the LeBlanc and a pretty clean tower dive.
So some key skill shots missed, namely the Graves canister not connecting as well as the chains not connecting, but really beautifully communicated between Naru to stop, take an extra tower hit, and allow them both to escape with flash.
Doing very well. Not a whole lot given up there. So you know, solid performance so far, but Theok maybe looking to turn this one in his favor as LeBlanc's taking a lot of damage. That's the kill. It's a little more important for us to check out Twitch's walk animation.
You know what?
He looks good.
Looking nice. Alistair, I see you've been doing the squats, but looks fantastic.
Dynamite legs. Dynamite legs.
It was fine. He was dead before Elise got there.
Yeah,
the spectator's like, this is over.
Yeah, it's good. We know. We knew. We knew. You got a spectator.
I love when my spectator has a sense of humor.
It's good overall. So, of course, yeah, kills now relatively even in the middle lane, and Rise may actually find an advantage here as he starts to even up the farm. And Theok, now he's got this level 4, feeling a little more comfortable.
It's because he doesn't have a mid laner, and Rise is still there.
And there's an Alistair in that jungle with that Elise, too. And
with the killer legs. You know, it's because he's getting around.
Walking, you know? Very active lifestyle that he starts leading. Trying to keep up with Dumbledore and the roaming around the map. Never underestimate the power of cardio. More aggressive tower taking is now Lyon Gaming look to find their second of the game. And once again, the mirrored push on both sides. Lyon Gaming are burning through this one very quickly, and it looks like SuperMassive are actually a little bit behind.
Well, it's 4 members versus 3. Elise is up there, and again, with the added pushing power of... I'm like, they're going to push it through. They're going to contest for second tier tower. They've got the Elise. They have the... Nope, no, they're not doing it. What's even weirder, too, is because Alistair grabbed the incoming creep wave. Oh, did he slow it down in time? Which means that the creeps had more time onto the tower before changing direction and hitting the incoming creep wave. So they don't even get a good bounce back, which means that if Trundle isn't able to reset this into the second tier tower, a pretty slow freeze could be built. Yeah, but he's good.
Not an ideal situation overall, however. Making the best of it as now both sides look to take their respective neutral objectives. Rift Herald will drop shortly in the favor of Lions Gaming. Did they even get that one?
They've traded tower for tower, so we're all good.
Okay, no, he did get Rift Herald. Sorry, I saw his health bar drop to very red, and I was like, maybe they had to leave the Rift Herald alone. Maybe they fumbled it, but it's just a trade.
We're totally even on objectives. It was Dragon for Rift Herald. The difference is that the Rift Herald can be utilized to push down an objective that's worth gold. I'm talking about the tower.
Of course.
with its pushing power.
I'm keeping up now.
Okay, we're on the same page?
Yeah, we got it. It was a little brain fart sort of moment.
But why this is important is because if that Rift Herald is translated into objective gold, or excuse me, tower gold, you immediately get to back and spend that power. Whereas the Dragon is going to be scaling power. And with a lackluster early game composition, that can be really punishing.
Yeah, of course, now starting to see that Rift Herald buff pay off as they're looking to push in the bottom lane. We'll have to see if the Graves here wants to come down and back this up. I don't know if they're going to look for a tier 2 push just yet, but still overall.
They give it to Twitch.
Oh, double dash. Come on. I just constantly expect dives now whenever Double Doge goes into a lane, but he's just going to walk away casually on this one. Maybe throw down a little healing shrine and mosey his way over into that jungle. So a little bit of deep vision.
I feel like they lose a lot of their sneakiness by giving Twitch the Rift Herald, though. Like, what if you wanted to stealth up into the mid lane?
Yeah.
And then suddenly...
No, I've seen that happen in a couple pro games, and I never noticed it until I think I noticed it in a Korean game where a gank was completely and totally given away by the jungler having Rift Herald and roaming into the lane brush, and now it's all I can think about. You're right. It totally and absolutely loses the value of stealth. It's like Thresh souls spawning. Like, oh, I wonder who's here. Moving forward, though, Seiya's starting to run to who's here as the magical journey comes over the wall. He's going to be locked up. Stealth may take him to safety. No, 2 shots. Ignite. Dumbledoge grabs the kill. Excellent play there from SuperMassive.
And the big thing was to make sure that the damage was consistently coming out so he couldn't walk and get into that stealth, which is why he flashed away to try to create space. No reason for him to be that overextended, so good read by Dumbledoge. Free food.
Free food indeed. Twitch already getting behind, and this is not quite where he wants to be. We said this Twitch was going to need time to scale up, was going to need to hit those 3 items. Still struggling to find one as Lucian already getting a pretty decent advantage. Baldrin now pushing in on the top
that's a
side.
20 CS advantage. In fact, SuperMassive have CS discrepancies in pretty much every single lane.
We were talking about Naru finally traded back. Just trying to push in the wave now as that health relic will make sure that he can speed out safely if necessary. But Yuri, despite the fact that he's now doing damage, now trading reasonably well, you're right. He has that CS discrepancy, and that's going to be pretty rough. Theok really the only one remaining even at this stage of the game.
It's now about where SuperMassive are going to go next. Are they going to... Because you have a... not a freeze, but you have really deep and long lanes. You see Twitch down there taking his time, holding that wave for as long as possible, which means that a Chu has to make the call. Do I overextend bottom, or do I consolidate forces with my mid laner?
Definitely an option here is Dumbledoge. Starting to move once again back onto the bottom side of the map. Have to see what they choose. So far, Lucian moving in over here to take this farm as LeBlanc is going to pick up that blue buff for herself. So a little bit more pressure on the mid lane as Naru will back and look to complete his first item. Looking like most likely an Abyssal Scepter. Will snag it. Continues to go forward. Honestly, very kind of the lull in the action here at this stage of the game as both teams are kind of moving out on jungle vision.
It's because people are figuring out where their lane assignments are and where to safely gather up gold. Because these towers fell so quickly. Hold on, they're setting up. Get out.
Nope. The journey's magical.
We're fine.
Takes him to safety. Graves and Bard continue to roam the map. The support.
Because we took down such major objectives so early in kind of the gentleman's agreement to open up the side lanes, and no one wants to walk in and to try to wave clear, or excuse me, to try to siege into the wave clear of Ryze or LeBlanc respectively. It now creates this, what are we fighting over? Okay, we're going to fight over smaller objectives, buffs, vision, tiny little skirmishes, and just continue
Tiny little jungle camps in the case of this Graves. He keeps poking his head in the enemy jungle. This is mine. My Gromp. These are my Raptors. At least you don't need these. Not really a noticeable CS difference. It looks like we're setting up for a skirmish.
He's going for Krugs next. It's gone,
Bottom
but he doesn't
side.
know that.
Fight over everything.
I know.
The supermassive strategy. Dumbledoge.
It's a good strategy, especially when you're ahead.
Yeah. Twitch.
That
is terrifying.
terrifying.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
TP.
Moving forward, they have to be scared now, and it's not just the creepy Twitch voice, it's the TP on the back side. One responded with, though, is going to be canceled out, actually. They start to push forward. Either side losing too much there. Trade of TPs. No engage, although at least finds the cocoon. Bard not finding the stun. There's one more, and this time coming in from the Ryze in the mid lane, now hoping to find Blood. Magical Journey. They're following the Bard. Going to find an opportunity to commit just yet, and Lions Gaming burn both TPs, walk away empty-handed, and now the Graves just going to dash out of there in style.
That's massive for Supermassive. The fact that they just ate 2 teleports right there, and totally fine, disengage safely. They get great chip damage on the mid tower from Naru, but check out what's happening in the top tower. Thaldrin just left alone.
Denying a little bit of CS here, catching up now to the Trundle, who previously had an advantage in mid lane, immediately burned down in the favor of Supermassive.
Because they get the inside track, able to disengage since so many members have been displaced bottom. So fantastic rotation, not even a rotation, but a fantastic reaction to the double teleport coming out of LG from Supermassive.
Yeah, and I think LG just overextending a tiny bit, and Supermassive more than happy to punish them for that now as they pick up their second Rift Herald, in addition to that mid lane tower and burning so many summoner spells. So great play so far from Supermassive. Pushing forward, though, you know, Lions Gaming just trying to clear out as much of the CS as possible. Still really waiting on that Twitch to scale up. Only has the serrated Dirk so far, so maybe seeing the Yomus come out here as the first item. Have to, once again, kind of a question mark, though, exactly what he's going to build this time around. Lucian still working towards the Essence Reaver.
Fine. Good mid-game power spike. Obviously, synergizes really well with his kit. Helps him with his ambush. Helps him stay safe, get back in position.
Hide in the back, push the buttons,
push
shoot
the
the
buttons.
people.
I push buttons. Big thing is, again, another Rift Herald has fallen. This time around picked up by Graves. They're now moving towards the Dragon, taking another free objective since they have control of both the bottom and mid lane.
Moving forward, Graves now, as you said, pushing over to the second Dragon. The buff, not going to be too major at this stage of the game, but we've seen how crucial 5th Dragon can be for both forcing fights and for closing out games. So Supermassive just making sure to retain control over every objective on the map as long as possible. Yeah, clearing out a little vision, but at the end of the day, not going to contest this one as Graves will solo that out.
Yep, everyone backing off to their own devices now, although it looks like a small trap perhaps being set up by LG.
Deox still remains undetected in the bush there. Not going to push in quite yet. No flank opportunities, and lane's just starting to reset. Graves pushing in to clear out vision.
Are they going to contest for red? Naru is not moving.
Warded up. Graves may look to get it. Oh, sorry, buddy. Not quite going to get it. Does hit it with the cone on the back half, but will not steal that one away. So all burned for nothing there. Small cooldown used.
I feel like a small missed opportunity as well. Again, Supermassive are usually so good at exploiting any type of advantage they get, no matter how small, and that was a perfect advantage to continue to just paper cut.
Yeah, maybe small, you know, like look to get that, look to jump in there and force a fight there as they are pretty substantially in the lead. 3K, only 13 minutes in. Continuing to pressure out these lanes, but haven't found any kills quite yet. Much more defensive play coming in from Lions Gaming, and now a lot of tower damage going down. Over here in the mid lane, Yuri really can't approach quite yet. Trundle on the way potentially to back him up.
There's no one to assist him. Yuri doesn't have a massive mana pool right there. Really has to respect because he doesn't have vision about where the rest of SuperMassive's team could be. The teleports aren't available, so no flank perhaps, or no flank potential.
Very rough. Of course, the whole jungle is going to be warded up by LG, so despite the fact that LeBlanc is roaming everywhere, she is spotted out. Now shifting her attention to the side lane as Poppy takes up the mantle of pushing mid. Draw. Supported by Elise there, allowed to push up a little bit more than he may be comfortable. Know that he's safe on the top side of the map. Lions Gaming, I think this is exactly what they want, though. Just going to keep farming up. Just going to keep waiting for the Twitch. Just going to keep being horrified by the Twitch voice in Spanish.
Yeah, I'm pretty, I don't know how I feel about Twitch's voiceover.
It's like scary Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
And I thought Kog'Maw was already kind of creepy.
That said, SuperMassive get the better rotation onto the mid lane. They continue to push that one down, free objective, and they're now looking for more as Naru has the bottom wave set up for them. Possible dive.
Power of Magical Journey, the power of Tempered Fate as they move forward. Smokescreen coming out as well, making sure there's no return damage. There's an excellent flash, as you just said, and Achu could be in trouble. Alistair only going to hit one with the flash Pulverize. Not going to have any more opportunity to go in there. A little bit of a fumble coming on the side of Lions Gaming, but they make sure that this tower will stay safe.
Yeah, but they try to pull the confidence, or they try to have confidence and pull the trigger. Only eat their teleport. They will have a second teleport up on Yuri in just a few seconds. Meanwhile, Thaldrin still has his TP.
I like that. The brief pause there. Poppy, have to double check and make sure that that cooldown is up and available, because honestly, Yuri's looks like it's available right now until you kind of zoom in on it.
Chinese nicknames, no problem.
Gonna get it. Of course, Achu continuing to trade back and forth here, but Twitch looking a little bit more comfortable now that he has some more damage under his belt. Still very far behind, though. 30 CS discrepancy on these 80 carries. Essence Reaver, the Shard already finished.
I mean, it just comes down to itemization. Lucian has an Essence Reaver. Twitch has a couple of ingredients.
A lot of long swords.
I can't hold all of these long swords.
We got 4 long swords. We combine 4 things into 2 things. We do some damage, but it's just not a great situation for Twitch at this stage of the game.
Yeah, trying to dig himself out of a hole. We talked about how he bypassed a little bit because of the initial lane swap, but then was put back into a 2v2 and just really punished.
Of course, continuing to just sit in the bottom lane and try to farm up, although LeBlanc and Lucian maybe setting their sights on taking down this tower, as there's not a single member of Lion Gaming there to defend. Colin used to push the wave. SuperMassive grabbing a huge fumble here on the side of Lion Gaming. SuperMassive now push up to a 6K gold lead, only 16 minutes in, and Lions Gaming bleeding out this stage. Really going to have to make some proactive moves if they want to stop this.
Yeah, Lion Gaming a bit unclean on the rotations and trying to figure out where they're going to be, but great job on SuperMassive to recognize we're stronger, we're going to continue to bully them around, and now we're going to contest for the blue buff.
Oh, there goes the Rise. He could be in trouble, though. That's a lot of CC moving on to him, but they have to back up, have to respect that LeBlanc, and the Poppy coming in as well. Stealing away that blue buff, choking out Lions Gaming as their own objectives don't even really belong to them anymore.
Yeah, pretty much just taking any advantage they can around the map. Superior play across the board. SuperMassive looking great, and again, we talked about this. They haven't revealed anything either. There's no funny picks coming out, no secret strats, just really clean, clinical League of Legends from SuperMassive. And if they win here, they could take first seed.
Yep, Jarrell suddenly looking like he's in trouble. Naru does so much damage. Subjugate going to be used, caught up by the Tempered Fate. Not sure if they're going to change this one. Graves comes over the wall. LeBlanc, sorry, comes over the wall, and they're going to grab that. Dumble Doge, his second kill of the game.
This Bard is out of control. Hard carry. 2-0.
Dumble Doge. He's a jungler. He's a support.
It just fits so well with Dumbledoge's identity. This tournament has really, and I believe Carbon stated this over and over on the disc, this tournament has been commanded by junglers and supports, unlocking themselves, roaming around, taking these early objectives. And Dumbledoge, this is like a perfect meta for him as Ali goes in.
Headbutt Pulverize, though, coming in, and Dumbledoge's going to get taken down. Not quite as perfect as he'd like it, but Thaldrin going to make sure that SuperMassive come out on top in that trade as they now look to grab another tower. Seiya desperately trying to move forward, but the Culling going to force him back, and Uri, the only member left alive or left standing under this tower.
Yeah, and threatening forward with the reach of Rise to make sure that no siege can go, but Naru maybe getting kind of cute by the side.
That's the blue buff. Has 2 items. I didn't know what to say there. LeBlanc completely pops the Alistair.
It was pretty much an accurate statement. Just disgusting play from Naru.
3-1-1, the start of the game. We've already seen, I believe, one LeBlanc go legendary today on the side of the Chiefs and their dominating performance. We may see another here as SuperMassive show no signs of stopping.
Definitely no signs of slowing down. This has been a breakneck pace game from SuperMassive, as Naru is continuing to be on the hunt. Seiya, perhaps the next victim.
Oh, no.
Da, 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 da.
Are they trying to get it? LeBlanc taking the red buff. You don't even need that. That's just disrespectful. Naru, though, going to run out and make it to safety as another dragon drops. 3 dragons, only 19 minutes in. They're getting these at, you said breakneck speed, and that's absolutely on point because every time that dragon spawns, it dies 30 seconds later in the favor of SuperMassive.
So unfortunately, where Hard Random had faltered last game, SuperMassive still peaking in form. Oh, God.
Oh, that Twitch. That's not good.
Misses
the chain. Oh, you ignite the red buff. It's too much, and Naru going to seal that one. Bard doesn't even need the assist as Naru finds the solo kill. 4-1-1 now.
And unfortunately, that is a wave clear member down for LG. They could look to siege into this mid-2 tower, but instead they're going to focus on the last standing outer in the top lane.
Want to extend that gold lead. Already at about 8K. Looking to push it to 9, 20 minutes into the game. Lyon Gaming have to be hurting right now. Chu, though, could be caught out. The Rise is going to grab a kill, and that's a little bit of a gift over to Lyon Gaming. A big overextend there from the 80 carry on SuperMassive.
And the thing about Rise is there's only about 3 80 carries that actually outrange him. So if you're ever in that threat zone of that 600 range snare, you're pretty much donezo. Still needing to respect the scaling potential of Yuri.
You're not a LeBlanc. You don't just get to jump in and jump out for free, unfortunately. When you're Lucian, you commit, and once you're snared, you're pretty much doomed to die in that situation. So good overall that Yuri got that kill pickup. But now here comes the engage. Magical Journey. Twitch going to do his best to disengage Lolis, though really the one in trouble. Theok running to safety, swapping forms to get that movement speed. Now repel into the air. This is not what he wanted because Naru is on the backside. The rest of the team chasing him down. No hope here for Theok. Another pickup for the Graves.
Yeah, it's just bad to worse.
I feel like 4 members of SuperMassive going through a Magical Journey is just the summary of this game so far. Every time Magical Journey comes out, somebody dies.
They've got the gold lead. They've translated that into free vision. As they're now looking for more.
Bard looking for the engage there. Is going to lock up the Twitch there as he tries to go invisible. We'll get to stealth, of course, as that snare comes up, and Double Doge potentially in trouble, but the Alistar may have burned Unbreakable Will too late because he's looking pretty damn breakable as they push forward. Yuri getting burned out as well, and SuperMassive just absolutely crushing Lions Gaming in that exchange.
Pick up the kills will now return to Baron. Again, we've talked about this. They have the gold lead. It translated into the vision lead because they're able to expend more gold into those pink wards. They've got complete control of this area, and it will be a started Baron.
No hesitation here. They know that the jungler's up, but they're not scared whatsoever because that Graves has a 2-level advantage. They want to be careful here. Naru potentially looking for the flank. Is just going to blow up the Twitch. Oh, God. Naru's a destructor. I don't even know what the equivalent of that is in English, but they're moving forward, knocking the Elise back. Dumbledore's going to make it to safety. Trundle desperate to get anything back, but at the end of the day, the Baron drops. The Trundle will drop too, and that's a 12K gold lead over to LG. The Spider. Oh, itsy bitsy Spider. Double kill over to Achu, and SuperMassive clinical play.
Yeah, and it was really, we were just talking about this. Gold lead translated into the vision lead. Naru played with the pink ward right there. He was standing off into Fog of War, knowing that it was clear because they have total control of that area of the map. Saw that Twitch was approaching to clear out the pink ward or was behind his team lines, and then hopped over the ward, deleted him.
4K gold in favor of the Lucian, 3K in favor of the LeBlanc, as you can see that on your screen. 2K in the top lane. Everyone has at least one item over the opposition, and this is the point where you really have to wonder what went wrong on the side of Lyon Gaming because not a whole lot of options left to come back.
Their strongest member is Seiya, and he's recognized in the region as being one of the best players from the region, you pretty much put him at a disadvantage by giving him Twitch. Not that he isn't a great Twitch player, but just that Twitch has such a hard time through the early lane phase.
Nope, Temper Fate coming out. There's the Rise lockdown. The Elise as well. Going to look to line up the stun here. Not going to find it, though. Dumbledoge not in trouble either, though. Just pops the lock to the Iron Solari as they move forward. That Elise is still going to get snared, unfortunately. Repel not going to break the chains, taking the damage, and Elise will go down. As they move forward here. SuperMassive. They can't. There's no hope here for Lions Gaming, unfortunately, as they push forward. There are little opportunities maybe to come back, but before you're going to get any of those opportunities, you have to find a way to get this LeBlanc out of your base.
They would need probably a 25-minute just free farm fest before they could look at competing against SuperMassive, and that's also trying to execute their phenomenal team fighting. This team has just been destructive.
It's a quick, systematic close here from SuperMassive. Lions Gaming not even going to approach the contest. Poppy tries to lock someone down. And as Lion Gaming move forward, this is so difficult for them. Are they going to actually find a fight here? I don't think they're going to get the opportunity. They're just dying left and right. Twitch will finally get a kill. Are they even going to have the opportunity? Achu focusing the attention on these champions. Graves moving forward to try to get something, but at the end of the day...
The big thing is that Naru is dead.
Naru may be dead, but SuperMassive look like they may just be playing with their food as they start to turn their sights onto this Nexus. Not done ending the game yet, just having a little bit of fun. It's their last game of the group stage, and they're going to close it out in style. A little bit of quitting coming out here on the opposite scene, and it's Victoria in favor of SuperMassive.
And we talked about this. What was really important is, yes, this was effectively first place team versus last place team in terms of the standings, but SuperMassive did a phenomenal job of not giving over to the upset that we've seen all day, but more importantly, not showing anything before going into the best of series of this tournament.
Really intense, though, because now that Lion Gaming did not find a win there, it means that there will be a three-way tie at the top, and it's pretty intense, I think, moving forward, because suddenly it was a matter of can you find advantage in the round robin, and now it's you're fighting for tiebreakers. You're fighting those teams that you feel like you should be or should have potentially had an advantage over. And now the top are going to, before we even get to the bracket, before we even get to the opportunity to see which of the top teams can face off against each other and how they fare in a best of 5, they're going to have to face one more, I believe, best of 1 if they want to secure a higher seed.
And again, it comes down to, can they hide their strategy? Is there anything left in the gas tank for a lot of these teams? How many cards did each of them play to get to their position on the ladder? And how will the rest of the meta and the rest of the bracket unfold from here? Because you have to think, in a best of 3, like best of 1 is fine. You just pick your best champions, try to face roll someone over. But in a best of 3, they have their own unique and individual metas where some picks start to become contested between two teams that you may not see in the overarching meta. And that's when things get really interesting. And so again, can these teams retain the higher seed and the better ladder position while not exposing themselves? And how many cards can they keep close to their chest?
Yeah. And of course, looking forward, our last game is going to include the Saigon Jokers as well. So once again, another one of those top teams. And if SuperMassive and Jokers both win, and SuperMassive already have, it's going to be the tiebreak between the two of them. And those are both teams that we've seen be incredibly explosive. Once again, as you said, really have to be raring up, prepared for that best of 5 format, but have to win the best of 1 to get that seed, and still have to be cautious about what they show if they want to hide something for those deeper sets.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think something that really needs to be underlined as we kind of come to a close on a lot of these group teams disappearing, a lot of more of these underdog teams disappearing, is that playing on an international stage is completely different than playing in your domestic region. A lot of these regions have online aspects to their play, like playing in a LAN event is a very unique experience. We had a lot of players throughout this tournament that didn't have that experience, and it's no surprise that a team like SuperMassive has managed to retain so much talent and retain their performance kind of across different iterations and different team names, just because of, I mean, you go back to their MSI performance. They got to play against the likes of SKT, EDG, obviously very comfortable on a stage. You can see that in their play, that they're not scared, that they're confident, that they'll go for those crazy dive plays. Naru was playing out of his mind that game, whereas some of the other teams, you know, maybe if they don't have as much experience, they look a bit more cautious, a little bit scared, nervous.
Yeah, and despite the fact that the team has, changed names, changed a few members, a lot of those core pieces that we saw at MSI last year remain the same, and as compared to the Besiktas lineup, of course. So I think this is a really strong team, a really strong lineup, and honestly can compete with any of the other teams in this tournament, and showed why they are at the top that game. Completely dominating the performance, super clean, and Lyon Gaming, I mean, it felt like they had a chance in the early game. It felt like they were doing fine, and then suddenly the gold lead.
They put themselves behind, though, with their picks if their early game is where the strong point is. Again, taking your strongest player in Seiya and putting him on a Twitch, he's not going to be able to make any early plays unless he makes a very cheeky, like, stealth onto a mid lane gank at level 2 or level 1.
Yeah. Interesting to see. Of course, our final game of the day is going to be Saigon Jokers versus INTZ, and there are huge implications here. We'll get a chance to explain that when we get back, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.